Juan Soto did the Bob Barker ultimate impression today by gifting a brand new car to Brett Beatty. We had our first spring training game of the season that had a very, very dangerous looking play that took place. MLB is going to be trying out some new rules, and we got a couple other Mets updates for you. Welcome to MetropoliFins. We are YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel, bringing you some updates for whatever you may be missed in the world of New York Mets today. So it was kind of all over the internet today that Juan Soto surprised Brett Beatty with a new car in exchange for his uniform number. And so I'll read a little backstory, and then I'll show you guys the video in case you haven't gotten to see it yet. Before deciding what to gift Brett Beatty in exchange for uniform number 22, Juan Soto consulted his sources. Soto grinned while retelling the story, unwilling to reveal the identity of his moles. "We have some guys," was all he would say. Through those back channels, Soto learned that Beatty has always wanted a spacious black-on-black SUV. As Soto schemed, Beatty was none the wiser. It wasn't until traveling secretary Edgar Suero asked Beatty to join him on the players' parking lot Thursday morning that he discovered a brand new Chevy Tahoe waiting there for him. The SUV had a large red bow fastened to the hood and a message scrawled on the back windshield: "Thanks for number 22." Uh, so shortly after Soto signed his contract, Mets special assistant Eduardo Brazella called Beatty to see if he'd be willing to give up number 22, which the third baseman had worn throughout the first 3 years of his career. Beatty didn't hesitate. "It's just a number," he said. While that could have been the end of the exchange, Soto took things a step further, acquiring Beatty's phone number, texting him to let him know a gift would be coming. For Beatty, a new car made plenty of sense. Over the past few years, friend and teammate Mark Vientos has been lampooning him for continuing to drive the same 2016 Toyota 4Runner that he had in high school. Yes, Brett Beatty is driving his high school car to major league ball games. So good stuff. "I can come to spring training every single year," Beatty said. And I'm like, "I'm going to get a new car. I'm going to get a new car." Well, now he finally has one. The Chevy Tahoe cost Soto $92,000, which is just 0.1% of his 2025 salary. So, and Soto said, "For me, it's not about the car. It's about something that's going to make him happy." And so we're going to go ahead and let me show you this in case you haven't gotten to see the video. I'm trying to share video a different way today. So let's see if this works a little bit better. We're going to see if this is a little less choppy today. We'll see. I guess it's still choppy, but oh well.
No, you did it. My God. My God. Hey, man. You know, I told you I got little gift. Check it out. You can drive it and everything. Oh, my God, man. It's all yours. Look at this thing. You put the button on, too? This is sick, bro. You know, I just appreciate it. Thank you for the offer, you know. I really appreciate it. Yeah. It's the first one I ever wear, so I want to give you something nice, you know, something nice that you can. Well, this is definitely really nice. Tell me how I look in the driver's seat. I gotta see. You gotta see. Dang, man. Bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. All right, so there's a little bit of that video working on figuring out the audio on all that. How's it going, Savage Batman? So that was Juan Soto and Brett Beatty. You know, he had said in an interview I saw that he was hoping for something, but he wasn't expecting anything. And I just really think this goes a good way to building the chemistry. I guess the question is, does this mean that the Mets kind of have to hold on to Brett Beatty for right now? We're going to get into the Mets trade market here, but that is the big news. All right, the second thing, kind of un-Mets related, just related more to baseball in general today, was the first spring training baseball game of the day. Cubs defeated the Dodgers. So if you are a Dodgers hater, you can at least know that for this exact moment, the Dodgers are the last place team in Major League Baseball spring training. A set that means absolutely nothing, of course, but have it nonetheless. But there was a really scary thing that happened in the game today. Again, this is going to be a little choppy, but Bobby Miller came in to pitch for the Dodgers. Yamamoto started. But let me share this with you in case you haven't seen this. Really.
Oh, boy. In the foul territory now to avoid the obstruction.
All right. We don't need to see that twice. So Bobby Miller was hit, removed for the game. He's going to be tested for a concussion. Of course, the biggest thing with these spring training games, everyone's just trying to get going, make sure everybody's healthy. And see that in the very first game of the season, just kind of like, wow. Crazy stuff. And I noticed the reaction. I think it was Michael Busch was the batter, but he like kind of squatted down. He didn't even run to first base right away because he was just reacting to hitting him. All right, so we have that. That's the first spring training game. More games will start this weekend. The Mets' first game is Saturday, is what we have. All right, so then a couple more things. I'll just share a couple more articles here. Some are from the last couple of days here, but so this new ball strike challenge, some spring training before. Baseballers have been arguing about those calls ever since. Strike zone judge, untold number of verbal and even physical tussles. So, and then scrolling down, it says this: welcome to the ABS challenge system. During Grapefruit and Cactus League seasons this spring, the automated ball strike system, or ABS, presented by T-Mobile, because you got to get that in there too, will be in place for roughly 60% of spring training games, as MLB uses the exhibition season to determine whether the system is suitable for the major league level. There are 13 spring training ballparks covering 19 home teams. Every team will play games in which they have the opportunity to challenge ball and strike calls. So how does the system work? Why is it preferable to robo-umps? Okay, and I agree. I agree that this system would be significantly better than just having robo-umps. I don't want robots calling balls and strikes. I want there to be a little bit. Part of the uniqueness of baseball is the fact that, I know some people don't like it, but I like that every umpire kind of has their own. It's all these small little adjustments that makes baseball. So the ABS challenge system is a compromise between full ABS, where all strikes are called by a computer, and tradition, with a sprinkle strategy tossed in. In the ABS challenge system, the human home plate umpire calls as usual. Hawkeye technology is running in the background, monitoring the exact location of each pitch relative to the batter's strike zone. This allows players to ask for a challenge of a ball or strike call they feel the umpire got wrong. Hawkeye has provided core data for ball, player, and bat tracking for StatCast since 2019. Each team will start the game with 2 challenges apiece. The batter, the pitcher, or the catcher can challenge an umpire's call. No one else may do so, not even the manager. Challenges must be made immediately after the umpire's call, without assistance from the dugout or other players. The player taps his cap or his helmet to alert his desire to challenge the call. The Hawkeye view a shot shown to those in attendance via video board and to home viewers via the broadcast. In minor league experimentation, challenge added 17 seconds of game time on average. Successful challenges are retained. Call is confirmed. Because challenges can be lost, it's incumbent upon the player to be judicious about asking for a challenge, i.e., not wasting to his team in a high leverage spot. So in that sense, the ABS challenge system adds. ABS system was first used in the Independent Atlantic League in 2019. Challenge system was first used in the Florida, tested by the end of 2024. Full ABS had been pushed aside in favor of the challenge system. And again, I'm a much bigger fan of this idea of being able to fix the most egregious calls and calls in the most high leverage spots. So, minor league players testing revealed clear preferences among fans, managers, players for a challenge system. The reason in so many words that fans in baseball, people still desire a human element of umpiring that involves feel for the game. Walks were more prevalent, causing the games to drag on and countering the improvements made in pace by the pitch clock. Yeah, so In other words, realistically, you're not looking for a system that's going to have every strike called absolutely perfectly. So yeah, well, so the pitch clock is probably here to stay for now. I agree. I'm not a fan of that. Redman, how's it going? Yeah, so anyway, that's what's going to be tested out. You'll get to see that in spring training, and I like it. You know, I could see maybe add one more challenge for the ninth inning for both teams. You know, like, or just guarantee both teams to have a challenge available in the ninth inning for balls and strikes calls, whether you were unsuccessful or not. So I kind of like two challenges available in innings 1 through 8, and then everybody has one available for the ninth, regardless if they use theirs or not. That would be kind of my ideal, but whatever. I think this is a good compromise. I lean traditional. I lean towards things like I don't like the DH. I like kind of the old-fashioned baseball. However, I do believe this is one area that we could fix the worst of the worst calls for balls and strikes that are just clearly off the plate and without the game dragging too much. And I think that would be really, I think that's a good compromise. So I'm excited for that. All right, got another update. The Mets are not planning, as of this point in time, of adding pitching depth. So starting pitching in the wake of the Frankie Montas lat injury, according to multiple sideline until at least mid-May. But again, they're saying not throwing till mid-May and probably not returning till early June at the earliest if everything goes well. Even if the team uses a six-man rotation, the Mets still have 7 realistic candidates to fill those slots. Sean Manaea, Kodai Senga, Clay Holmes, David Peterson, Griffin Canning, Paul Blackburn, and Tyler McGill. And all 7 have significant major league experience. So what does this mean? It sounds like at this point in time, the Mets are pretty much ready to break camp with whatever final roster they have based on the players that are showing up in camp. Of course, not everyone who is in camp training will be making the major league squad or going with the team, but I think it's very notable to pursue pitching arm right now. And I think there's a couple of good thoughts of that. One is, why not just see how the team stacks up? Why not see how these guys, you've done all this work, you've put together this pitching rotation. Yeah, of course you wanted Montas there, but why go out and spend prospect capital? Why do that? And here's the thing. This might not be 100% true. In fact, I'd be fairly certain the Mets are still keeping, scanning the rosters of other teams to see who might be available, especially as roster cuts come down and different things like that. But you want to lower the pressure on the market. You don't want every single team thinking, "Oh man, the Mets are desperate for pitching. We can ask for the whole farm or anything like that." This is a good thing. It kind of says, first of all, it's a vote of confidence for your pitchers. Second of all, it's kind of like maybe helps your younger guys rest and relax and just focus on getting ready for the baseball season without constantly thinking like, "Oh, am I going to be traded? Am I going to be traded?" But in addition, why not just drive the price of the market down? And I think this is a really good decision. It's a good business decision here. And just go out and start. And look, you can trade for somebody at any point in time you want between now and the trade deadline. So there's no rush to bring somebody in just to fix this problem that may not even be a problem yet. Like, yeah, we'd all like to have another top tier all-star starting. Every team would love to have 5 of them. Every team except the Dodgers, who have 5 of them, right? But like, I don't think this means the Mets are truly out of the market. What I think it means is the Mets are signaling to other teams like, don't come here and try to fleece us. Like, we'll consider a fair deal, but we're not going to go overboard. And the truth is, the further along you get in the season, they'll have to pay, because teams that are out of it looking to trade their starting pitching need to trade those starting pitchers to get the prospects that they want for it. Whereas if you trade for full control for an entire year for a pitcher, then you're going to have to pay a lot more up front. So that's that. And then I got one last article here about Ronnie Mauricio. Here we go. For anyone in the Clover Park fields last Friday to harbor concern about the state of Ronnie Mauricio, Stepping into the cage for batting practice, Mauricio homered multiple times from the right side of the plate. Minutes later, he turned around and did it again from the left side. It's been a long time, Mauricio said a few days later. I do finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm very excited for that moment. That in some ways, Mauricio and the Mets is the Mets' forgotten man. One of the most high-profile international signings as a 16-year-old back in 2017. Mauricio shot up the prospect list, reached number 1 on the Mets prospect top 33 years later. As he gained strength, his reputation grew. Late in 2023, he reached the majors. He had a 117.3 mile per hour double in his debut, hardest hit ball than anything Lindor or Soto have hit in their careers. But in winter ball, he got hurt, and so he had major surgery installed when he required a second surgery, and he's been rehabbing for the last 15 months. Even so, his potential remains clear, standing 6'3", well above 200 pounds. Mauricio hits the ball as hard as any Met, other than Pete Alonso. Still 23. He's a year and a half younger than Vientos. He ended last season as Pipeline's number 6 Mets prospect, and is getting close to showing what he can do again. So that injury is really unfortunate. If you remember when he first came up, he added a lot of dynamic to the Mets roster, and we're certainly wishing him a very good recovery. Hopefully that he will be able to come back soon, strong. I don't expect him to break camp with the Mets. I don't know if this article is going to say anything about that, but so basically, my guess is for Mauricio, he's going to head to the minors at the start of the season, continue the rehab, make sure he's building back up to full strength at his pace. There is absolutely zero rush, especially with the crowded New York Mets infield. There will be almost certainly at least some opportunity throughout the season for him to do that. Of course, the Mets would be looking to see if he were to get fully healthy, to possibly trade him as well, depending on how they see this whole infield playing out here, because you've got potentially you have 4 guys you might want starting for 3 spots, or really 2 spots plus DH, because you got Vientos, Beatty, and then Acuna and Mauricio. And so I'm going to be guessing for sure that Vientos and Acuna are going to be breaking camp with the Mets, but there's a chance Acuna could go down. Maybe they just keep Vientos and Beatty on the roster. We'll see how everything, of course, how these guys do. Spring training games don't really mean anything, but the one thing they do mean a lot for is seeing how guys play in pressure situations, and seeing how some of these guys do going to road stadiums, and seeing some top quality pitchers and different things like that. So that's the breakdown. Lots of little Mets tidbits today from the last couple of days. The highlight, of course, being the gifted car from Juan Soto, channeling his inner Bob Barker, gifting the car to Brett Beatty. And I don't know, do you think that means that Beatty is likely to stay around just because he got a car from Juan Soto? Maybe, maybe not. So with that being said, we're going to end for tonight. And thank you so much. Make sure that you sign up for the Nick Madrigal rookie card giveaway. As soon as we hit 100 subs, we're going to be giving this card away. And we were at 98 going into. So the first time that I see that we have it, if you don't win the card, then you also get a discount code to my eBay store, where you can kind of go hunting for some cards. We'll make sure it's a really cool code. And then we'll start working on our drawing for our next card. So appreciate everybody for being here. Have a great night.